Hello, it's Monday, and we're back again with Juel Fitzgerald for Monday's Emissions from the Heart. This time we get to talk a little bit about one of my favorite topics because I love to travel. I told you that before. So this time we're going to talk about just some basic travel tips. We're going to get real deep because we could be here all night. You don't want to hear me talking. So anyway, so when you're thinking about making any travel, you want to have some advanced planning. You need to know when, where you want to go, who you want to go with, why you want to go, and how you want to get there. So that's all important. So you got to always have those four W's and the H. And then determine, okay, now that we know where we want to go, how we want to go, who we want to go, why we want to go, because you really need to have a reason for going. You just don't go for just no reason. What's the reason? Is it something you want to see there? Some people you want to see, whatever. What's the real reason why you want to go to this place? Or is it somewhere you want to go because other people have been going and I've been wanting to check that out? I don't know. Have a reason why. But anyway, in any case, you need to determine once you know all that, what kind of budget you want to have, how much you really want to spend for that. Because there's a lot of places that cost lots and lots of money, and then a lot of places not so much. So how much are you willing to spend and how are you going to have that money? You know, I don't know if you're like some people, they do have it on trees. I definitely don't have that kind of money where I can go in my backyard and plug money off and say, let's go to Timbuktu. Wish we could do that because I love to travel. And there's definitely some places I would love to go if I had the money. Anyway, so once you determine your the where you're going to go, how much money you need, then you need to start saving for it. So save for it a little bit at a time, however you want to do it. Don't just unless, like I said, unless you have that kind of money, you can just get up and go. Most of us have to save. So I personally love to plan, especially any trips that cost several $1,000s a year and a half to 2 years in advance. So I have that much time to set money aside, not necessarily to save. If it's because what we like to do is we'll put a deposit down on wherever we're going to go and then pay over it, pay in time over the number of months and years that it's going to take. So we may save in the beginning because sometimes we plan so far in advance that we can't make the booking because it's too far in advance. We can't do the air, you can't do certain things. So then maybe we have to shove money into a savings account in the beginning to save. But once the booking's made, then we are able to put a deposit down and then every month pay X amount on this venture that we're going to go on. So the thing is, that's why we do it so far in advance. We can pay for it in cash over time as opposed to trying to put it on a credit card. So then, like I said, I'm keeping this real basic. So let's just talk a little bit about just the part about packing. So you've already planned your trip, you're getting ready to go. Now it's time to go. So if you can pack as light as possible, all the better. Especially if you're going on a plane or a train. If you can keep it down to just a carry-on bag. So these are my three favorite bags right here. This is my carry-on bag, which is really small. And then this is a bag that I put on top of it. This is all three of these are carry-ons. So this one will go in the space above if I'm on a plane or a train for that matter, goes in the space above, and this will go in the seat under my seat. Now this is my actual purse. So this purse can go, it wraps, it's like a crossbody. It goes across and I can put my passport, all kind of ID and blah, 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 phone, camera, all that kind of stuff in there. So then we already know that when you go to a plane, they usually limit you to two bags. So what I do is I put this bag inside that bag so I can get on the plane. And then once I'm in the bag plane, I put this under the seat and then keep this out so I can have it close to me. So that way it looks like I'm carrying two bags, but I only got three. So anyway, and this bag too is made in such a way you can almost wear it under your clothes. So that's a real preference for depending on location, especially if you're doing some kind of international trip and you got a passport on you and money's on you that you don't want people knowing that you carry around. But that's, like I said, that's going way too deep. I'm just trying to keep this real super basic for anybody that's just going anywhere. So anyway, so the smaller, the lighter, the better. Because when I went to London, I didn't have this foldy bag yet. I only went to London with this bag, and I had another, and I didn't have this bag either. And I went to London the year that the Queen died, actually the day I arrived, is the day she died. So I only carried this bag, and I had a little fanny pack, a little black fanny pack that I carried at that point, and I was there for a week. So this bag was more than sufficient to carry 7 days worth of clothes and all my personal effects in this bag and put it above the overhead compartment in the plane. Because the main reason for when if you're traveling international that you want to keep it super light and in one bag is because that way all your stuff is with you all the time. And if you're jumping on more than one plane, which you undoubtedly will be, depending on where you live at, especially in Cleveland, we can't get too many nonstops to any country, so we have to have a connection somewhere. So the more connections, the more chances that your bags could get lost if you have a bag that you have to check in. So that's also keeping your costs down too. But mainly, if your stuff is with you, you don't have to worry about it getting lost because it's with you. You just go from plane to plane. So I know I had that problem when I came back from Indonesia, and they had to change our flights from what we had to change our flights because of something that was going on in Hong Kong, and it was having this gigantic coup going on. So flights got changed. I ended up by myself on 3 different planes. So that was kind of crazy going from place to place. And at that time, I had chose not to travel like that because we were thinking we were going to Indonesia on a mission trip. We needed a lot of stuff. As it turned out, I didn't need half of that stuff. So going through all those 3 different places, my bags got lost temporarily. So it caught up with me eventually once I got back to the United States, but it took a minute for them to find me because I was leaving from 3 different planes and the flights was real close. So I said, oh, just keep with my normal plan, one bag, carry on. Whatever bag I'm carrying is carrying on. 3 bags here, still all carry on. Now, if I'm going on a road trip or going on a cruise and I'm driving to the cruise, well, even if I'm flying to the cruise, I may take a bigger bag just because I just so choose to do that, especially if I'm going in a car to meet the cruise. But even if I'm taking a plane, I may take a bigger bag with me because then that bigger bag can go up under the bed. And that's just a preface. So it just depends on how long the cruise is and how we get near, and it's a lot because there's more clothes involved with that sometimes because you have the dressy clothes and it's just a lot more involved there. And it's not a concern about losing the bag because I'm taking a whole lot of flights. So it's just not the same. Now, if I'm going on a road trip or we're going to go stay in a condo, then I'm definitely bringing a larger bag because we're bringing lots of stuff in the car. We can carry a bunch of stuff in the car and don't have to worry about it getting lost unless we lose the car. So that's kind of hard to lose your own car. So, because then we carry coolers, we carry food, all that kind of stuff. So I don't care about having a really small bag. I'll carry the large bag I have, and a bag that would not even try to take in an airport. So it just depends on the different type of trip I'm taking on what I'm carrying. But in general, I still like to carry light, the less I need to haul around because I mean, bags is heavy, pulling and dragging and pulling and snatching it. Man, you be exhausted by the time you get there, exhausted when you get home. And then you'll need a vacation from the vacation because it was a piece of work. Travel day coming and going is always exhausting. So you want to keep it as less exhausting as it can be as possible. It's fun to get there. It's fun to be there, but then getting there and getting back sometimes could be a piece of work. So what I do is this little bag up here, this is a carry-on app because sometimes I'll just that is my bag, depending on where I'm going. Depending on how long I'm going to be, I can have everything in that bag because this bag expands. The fact is right now it's kind of an expanded zone right there. It's kind of half empty because I keep this bag semi-packed all the time. So in that bag is all my toiletries that I use all the time, like your toothpaste and your lotions and those kind of things that you have all the time. I even have pajamas, my travel pajamas in there all the time. I got my house shoes in there. Trying to think what else is in there. There's more than it's, but mostly it's toiletries, lotions, suntan lotion, all like suntan, screed, that kind of stuff that I'm going to use all the time, no matter what trip it is. It stays in there. So when it's time to go, all I have to do is add, depending on what kind of trip it is. So if I'm going on a cruise and I know I'm going to check in a bag at the cruise, I'll have other stuff in there like medicines and things like that that I want to keep with me, and a change of clothes or something like that. But anyway, so that's the bag. That's why it looks like that because it's still semi-packed for my next trip. Anyway, so let's just go into the bare basic necessities for any trip. So I ain't gonna go nowhere without insect repellent. This insect repellent is for my personal body use. So, however, even with that personal body use, I don't do it just for travel. I wear this every single day, no matter where I'm at. Right now, I'm wearing some. When I get up, wash up, I'm wearing that stuff because I don't want any insects bothering me, anything. I don't want to be bringing home any little bed bugs or anything or any kind of thing to my house no matter where I go because I'm always out in the world with a bunch of people. So there we go. And then this bottle here is for spraying, not for your personal use, but for your things that you're in contact with. So like even in the car, when I'm with the driver and the students, my stuff is sprayed up. My purse is sprayed up. Everything is sprayed up. Whatever I'm bringing in the car is sprayed up, so that I'm not bringing nothing home. I'm just saying I'm not bringing nothing home that don't need to be at my house. No visitors of any kind. They got to stay where they came from. So, so when I get to a hotel and in a cruise, anywhere that I'm sitting sleeping in somebody else's bed, especially in hotel cruises where they get transients in and out. I'm checking the bed. Make sure you check that bed because you don't want to find nothing in that bed that wants to say, hello, I'm coming home with you. It's like, we ain't happy. I'm checking and doing a close inspection, especially for the bed bugs. I mean, you definitely want to make sure that because there's no hotel now how luxurious it is that don't possibly couldn't have it. Because some of you may have heard recently that there was a case with Disney that proved that they had bed bugs. So Disney, wherever there's a bed, wherever there's people, check it. And if you find this stuff there, it's time to leave that location. Leave that location. So I'm just glad I haven't run into any. And then once I do the check, I take this here, spray down the bed, all the towel, I mean, what do you want to call them things, blankets and all that kind of stuff in the bed. Because, you know, bed bugs only come out specifically. I mean, there's other things like roaches and everything too, but bed bugs in particular, you know, like to feed on you. Roaches, they just like to eat your stuff. So bed bugs, they don't usually try to come out in the daytime anyway. So if you see them out in the daytime, that place is super infested. Because they're gonna wait till nighttime so they can chow down on you. So yeah, I'm just saying. So to be just in case my inspection wasn't as good as I wanted to be, that's why the bed is sprayed up, and then a lot of parts in the hotel room too, just so that if there's any in there, they out, they out. And this stuff also it repels, but it also it can also kill. So it can kill the bed bugs there. So I'm just saying that's what I do. That's how I roll. I don't go in no hotel room or any bed without doing an inspection before I put my stuff on the bed. So then the other basic needs you're gonna have, of course, you need change of clothes, underwear, swimsuit, change of shoes, whatever it is, because everybody have these things, you know what you need to get. So, you got to decide what those bare minimums are. Make sure you always have your travel documents, your passports, your ID, because you got to, if you're only staying in the United States, don't need a passport, but you do need a driver's license. So if you're driving on a plane, and we already know that some states already have that real ID so that you can travel on a plane. So, get the right ID so you can travel. Make sure you have your medications and your carry-on or something that's on with you. Don't just check your medications in because you need those stuff. Even if you don't need the drugs for a few hours, something should happen and your stuff get lost, and you're going to be out of luck if you don't have your medication with you. And then you got your personal needs. This is something you all have, whatever it is, you know what you need, whether it's your phone, your books, journals, Bibles, whatever. Because I like to take all that stuff so I can have things to entertain myself with when I'm sitting still doing nothing. So I can be reading. So for any real detailed information that's way above this basic, you can always go to my website. It's called travelbeacon.wordpress.com. There's at least 5 articles there that goes into some deep, in-depth information about what to pack for all kind of different travels. So like I said, we could be here all night if I go really deep on, okay, when you do this at international, domestic, blah, blah, blah. I'm just trying to keep this basic because mainly I just wanted to just give you some really basic stuff so you can go and travel. So now we want to make sure that when we do travel, that we always bring God into the picture. So it's for me, when I travel, because I love to travel, I told you this before, it's almost like I have to travel somewhere every quarter. And if I'm not traveling every quarter, I start having a nervous tick. Like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go somewhere, even if it's just one night, overnight, or something like that. I just got back from a women's retreat last night. To me, that's travel because I left the county, left the state, drove there, stayed in a hotel, had food. That was a quickie trip for me right there. Plus, it was also preparing me for some other trips out, which we'll talk about that some other time. But yeah, each trip kind of prepares me for another one. And when I go, God is always with me, because when He sends me to places or tells me to go somewhere, it's just amazing. Because every time I go, I learn something. He reveals something to me. That's another reason I just love to travel, because traveling brings me closer to God. I can see Him in different places, different people, and He'll just tells me. I mean, He'll just deepen things as He's already been telling me when I'm home. He'll get me in this quieter place at this place and say, okay, this is where I need you to go right now. But you were so busy, so distracted back home. So now I got you alone. So now let's talk. So, but make sure whatever travel plans you have, talk to God about it. Don't make a big plan and then go, oh God, yeah, you're gonna bless this, you're gonna bless my trip. Like, wait a minute, first. Let's have a good discussion with God first and say, okay, should I be going? Where do you want me to go? Yeah, that's the question. Where do you want me to go? Because God, the places I have gone is always because God has told me this would be a good place to go. And then I'll say, okay, so let's figure out the plan. How are we going to get there? And then I'll also tell you sometimes, yeah, that's a good idea, but maybe you shouldn't go. And this is so funny how timely this topic is with what I'm trying to do right now. My 70th birthday is in 2 years. So I'm thinking about where I want to go, because 70 is a huge mile marker. So I was thinking, oh man, I want to go to St. Kitts. I know somebody there. I can hang out with them, and that'd be kind of cool to remember the church, all that kind of stuff. And then I got to talking with some friends that have been there and asked them where they stay, because I was trying to use our timeshare option to go, and then found out that there's no timeshare choices there. I'm like, what? They don't have timeshare. It's like, yeah, what's up with that? So like, okay, I don't know. I guess I gotta do something. Maybe there's some all inclusives or something. I don't know. But in the long story short here, talked to these two different people, and one was like, okay, you want to go to St. Kitts, but it's not like paradise like you've been to before. So like, what? I was just kind of shocked. It's like, nah, nowhere there's no timeshare. I mean, there because they're a little undeveloped country, and if you're gonna go there, it might be best to stay at Nevis across the way, take a boat over, and visit St. Kitts that way. So at this point, it looks like, I don't know. I don't even know if I want to do Nevis after I started checking Nevis. So, I don't know. That might be right now, right, a little bit above my price range right now, even for 2 years, because I got other trips between now and then. And I'm not trying to break the bank just because I'm turning 70. So I'm thinking, right now, my husband and I are thinking, we might have to do that on a cruise. We've gone to St. Kitts before on a cruise. So I'm thinking, well, maybe this time we'll go on a cruise again with a different cruise line that we could see St. Kitts. When we get to St. Kitts, we'll visit our friends, say hello, have a meal with him, get back on the ship, and we'll be all good to go. And then have the bonus of seeing some other locations that maybe we may or may not have seen, or we'll see more of, one of the two. So that's where we are at this point. So that's how it rolls for me. I have this thought about going somewhere, and they go like, well, I don't know. But so we want to make sure, like it even says here in the scripture, that He's going to give you the desire of your heart, because your desire of your heart is coming from what He's telling you what to do. And this will make sure that if He's involved, then all your plans will be successful, like it says here in Psalm 24, that if God's involved in it, one, He's going to give you the desire of your heart, because the desire of your heart comes from Him. And then the plan will be successful as long as you are doing the plan that He is saying. Because if it's something you don't want you to go, maybe think, oh, I want to go do such and such, and then you find out, oh, wait, that's not a good idea. But if you didn't have them in there and you went to this thing and then you found it wasn't so good, like, man, first off, how did you lay your plan in the beginning? Because plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. I'm so glad, just like that, just said, I just talked to two people, changed my whole plan, changed my whole safety plan. So I can't wait to we'll talk about that later on in 2 years when I go there, and we'll find out, well, what really happened. Right now, it's like I said, it's probably gonna be on a cruise. I love cruises, but I also love me some all-inclusives. So anyway, so many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is God's purpose that prevails. So we always need to make sure, is this an approved trip? Like, God, well, what does it go to? And you think, well, wow, I gotta go somewhere because God said I could go. I want to go wherever. So yeah, do that. Yeah, try that. Try to go on that trip and you didn't bring God into the equation, or you didn't talk to anybody about it. Because anytime you go anywhere, especially if you've never been there, or even if you've been there a million times, you still want to check it out, make sure nothing has changed because places change. You want to check into the location, check out what that venue's like, where it is, what you need to do, because that makes a difference on how you pack, how much money is going to cost you, all that stuff. You need to do a little research ahead of time about anywhere you go. And bringing God into the equation will help you in that research because he's the number one you should be using in your research. In any case, once you go, the Lord himself goes before you and he will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. So don't be afraid or discouraged. Only reason why I included the scriptures because sometimes some people will not travel to certain places because they're afraid or they have some kind of, they've heard negative things from their friends or whatever. So that might be, depending on what that is, because sometimes there are places you don't want to go because for safety reasons. No, we're not trying to go there. But if you're just afraid because you're just afraid because it's a foreign place, and that could be a foreign place in the United States, not in another country. Some people do not leave their county, the state they live in, because they're afraid to go next door to the states that's next to them because they're afraid of something. I don't know what that is. But if you have God with you, he's encouraging you to go. He's not going to leave you. He's going to be there right there with you, showing you a wonderful time and a wonderful place because he created the whole world everywhere he created. It's going to be wonderful, especially he says, go there. I want you to go there. And he won't tell you the whole reason why I want you to go there, but once you go there, you'll go, oh, I went here to whatever, to learn about this, to see this, to learn about this culture, to be grateful for where I'm living at now because of what I'm seeing in these other places, to be of service, to help, whatever. He always has a divine purpose for you to go because he wants you to enjoy life here on earth now, not later in eternity. Talk about right now. This earth is here for us to enjoy it right now, not later when you're retired, later when you think you got the money, later when you think it's a good time. Go now where you can, where you're healthy, while God is encouraging you to go. Go, and he will get you there. So this is how I'm just trying to keep it short, basic, because, hey, to travel with me, if I start talking about travel, we could be here for hours. The minute I start thinking about I want to go somewhere, I'm like, oh, my whole schedule's changed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I get here? I should have been doing this and that. But then I start talking about travel. I'm out. So next week, we'll talk about something else. So see you. Hope you're having a great day. Can't wait to hear about some of your travel plans just because God sent you. See you later.